Evening guys, my name's Patrick. I didn't always wear a suit, to be honest. Until a couple of years ago I used to walk around pretty much in shorts and flip-flops. I was a captain for a long time, and that's pretty much where this idea came from. I guess in part kind of out of desperation. I'd had 8 companies go to the wall, and this was pretty much my last attempt. So I sat one very cold afternoon in February in 2013 in America on my wife's sofa, and I started to come up with an idea. And I think that's the most difficult point for me. It was always trying to come up with an idea, and I'd have ideas, and then I'd sort of sound them out in my brain, and then I'd just work through the steps and realise it wasn't going to work. Or sometimes I'd actually go all the way through company formation. I've launched companies with products that were taken away to the market, and then found for various reasons that failed. But with this, it just seemed it was an idea, and there was a shift in legislation. I felt that it was time to take a stance and move. So I started to write the content for our website. I started to analyse the market, and it was something that I knew. And I knew boats, and I knew the industry of yachts, and I also knew the people that worked on yachts very well. So I had a kind of already just a full understanding of my clients. So I wrote a website and I launched it at the end of February, and nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. We got no hits, no one was interested, and to be honest with you, we were pretty much pariahs. What we do is, initially we started with tax, and the reason we started with tax was because having read the FT and the Economist and the Keen Reader, I knew that legislation was changing. You could no longer hide money offshore, and all of my friends that I've worked with and sat on boats and had lunch with, dinner, they all were in the same situation. They had never ever done anything about the money that they had sitting in their offshore accounts, and they kind of just wryly would just sort of pass it off and go, "Oh, we'll find out, don't worry, no one will ever find out." Well, they will, and they started to. And so I started to say, "Look, you guys have got to sort this out." But they didn't want to, they didn't want to listen. And I got a lot of grief from these people, a hell of a lot of grief. I mean, we were probably lower down the list than the Jehovah's Witnesses when we were speaking. We used to do pies and we used to do pens. We figured people wouldn't throw pies away, and they used to normally keep our pens, so that would be one way of keeping us top of mind. And it was tough. It was really tough, but I won't keep banging on about this. I obviously, being a former captain, I thought I'd give you a nautical quote just to continue on the nautical thing. I was in a hotel the other day and I saw this lovely quote from Captain Cook, and it goes something like this: "Do just once what others say you can't do, and you will never pay attention to their limitations again." So for me to stand here in front of you this evening is a fantastic opportunity, and thank you for listening to me. And I've not come here to encourage you to work for me or to do anything that I've done. I just want to give you the inspiration to go out and set up a company if that's what's in your heart, if that's what you want to do, because it's an amazing thing. And it's amazing just to be able to prove people wrong, if nothing else. If you can't achieve anything else, just to be able to say to the end of the day, "I did this," is just an absolutely phenomenal feeling. So, we launched the company, nothing happened, but legislation was moving, and it was great. There was obviously FATCA came into play, so the US government basically introduced the foreign accounting system, which I'm sure as economics students you probably know all about. You probably know more about it than I do. Obviously people were held account. They had to report where their money was coming from. So that was the first piece of key legislation. Then you got the common reporting standard that came in. You got the automatic exchange of information. All of these key pieces of legislation were happening, but everyone was, again, just sitting on their boats, ignoring life. And then I kept thinking, and I thought to myself, I have to do something to access our market. So we started writing software. It was, I'd be out walking the dog one day and I'd think to myself, right, I'm going to do this. And so then we started writing, content and code, and we started getting products out into the marketplace. The first product that we wrote was it's called a tax check, and it basically gave people an objective form how they stood with respect to their tax situation and residency. And a lot of our client base straddled lots of different countries. They could be resident in one country and not even know, because they had their passports from another country. And so we started to tell them where their liabilities were, and that started to work. And then the next thing we did is we wrote a residency test. We launched it in the UK first of all. We put on an algorithm. The UK, HMRC primarily, they put out a piece of legislation in 2013 called the Statutory Residency Test. This meant that you could basically say black and white as to whether someone was resident or non-resident. And for someone that is under the threat of audit or investigation, they need to know, am I resident or am I non-resident? Resident, you're liable for tax. Non-resident, you're not. And that's what they needed. So that suddenly started to work because people were able to go onto our website. It was free software. And it started generating hits and a lot of interest because people were able to use that. And that then started to fall in line with our marketing philosophy, which is basically free information and free advice. And so that then it piques people's curiosity, and it worked. And then I also started thinking again, probably on another walk with the dog, that basically there's got to be something else. There had to be another product. So we started to look at all the various tax exemptions that are available. In the US, there's a tax exemption called the FEIE. So we looked at that and we started to write content and code, and we came up with a product that verified whether you qualify for this. Well, of course you're going to want to know if you qualify, because you can basically save $101,600 of your annual income and offset that against tax. So people wanted to use it, and people started to use that. Then we built a suite of software called the Tax Tools, and we started going out to the IFAs, financial firms, and saying to them, look, the problem that you have in this sector, which if you look at our target market, they're great. They're relatively high net worth individuals, particularly captains. You're looking at a base salary of anything, I guess, around 150 to 200,000. They do earn very well. They have no overheads, they've got no expenses, and predominantly they're tax free. So the financial services industry was certainly beginning to pay attention to them and was interested. So then we linked in with them, and we basically provided our software suite on their websites for free. They went on and their clients started using our software remotely. It increased our exposure on the web, and they were able to work out initially whether they owed tax. So before anyone does anything with offshore money, they need to know where their liability is. So we keyed in with the financial services companies, and that facilitated our growth. Obviously, we're not just in the UK. We quickly moved into Australia, New Zealand, because that was where our target market was. We're not just UK. We went into the US, as I've said, Canada, France and Spain, and it was good. And that's one thing I think you need to be very focused when you launch a company on growth and how you're going to achieve that growth. I think we've been incredibly lucky. I mean, we incorporated in 2014, and the growth that we're seeing at the moment per annum is around 70 to 80%. And the reason we're growing is simply because we've managed to blanket the net with our products and software. We have managed to go into lots of different sectors, and now obviously we're looking at, because we have an established brand and we have established products, we're looking at basically going into licensing agreements. So Australia is the one at the moment. We're brokering a deal with a company in Australia about licensing. And then obviously New Zealand, and then like to go into the US, but US is difficult because of the regulatory issues in the US, and it's so easy to get into trouble in the US, so it's something that we're approaching with slight trepidation at the moment, but it's definitely something that we will do. The other thing about the way the company works is obviously we offer other financial services. We offer mortgages as well. It's a very specific thing. Before we go into any sector or offer any service, we tend to choose the product in-house, crack it, hack it, break it. With our residency test, I've spent thousands in consultancy fees just breaking it and then rewriting it and breaking it. Obviously with the mortgage service that we offer, we have four key arrangements with lenders now that we know, hand on heart, that they will lend to our client base. And what we have above any other company is that they just don't have those key lending relationships and agreements in place. And so it's all well and good to introduce a service onto the market, particularly in the financial sector, but unless it works and unless you can get clients approved, it's a pup, it's dead in the water. So that was another key aspect of success for us. I think the hardest aspect, as I said originally, was coming up with the idea, and obviously with all the failures that had come around prior to that, I think I'd been quite knocked by that, and it was difficult to have that sort of willpower to carry on. But I'm glad that I did, and I've had a lot of daft ideas, but somehow just sort of running through the process and analysing it and creating and then breaking things, and it has enabled me to build the software that we have now, which has obviously enabled us to grow. I think one big thing that took place last year was I've had other companies. I had a boating company recently. It was a community project, just I launched it as a way of trying to allow the community access to the water. And marketing that was so easy because it was something I loved. People love boats, people love being out on the water. But marketing this company has always been an enormous frustration to me. I never felt that I was getting it right. And I think one thing that's really enabled me to get things right is obviously trying to create a brand purpose statement for the company. And then I found since then that everything's just forked out from there. So our brand purpose statement is just simple as keeping your money yours. And that's worked. We've obviously had a lot more success now with SEO. The content that we put out works extremely well. Talks is fantastic. I've got another talk on the 9th of February in Barcelona at a shipyard. It's a very dry subject matter. Trying to talk to a group of people half an hour about tags and keep them interested. I mean, it's not easy. Believe me, this is not a great job here, but somehow, we make it work. So, basically, broadly speaking, that is our company. That's what we do, and it's worked somehow, and it's working so far.